Hello, everyone. I'm Sean. I'm here with Ryan, and we're here to talk about Booksmart, the
One
movie.
word, not two.
One word. Yeah. An adjective.
I tried looking it up on Google. I was like trying to find the ratings on it. You know, I hate doing that before a movie, looking up the Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah, I
score
don't want to get
before
a
it.
bias.
But I typed in book space smart. Just got all kinds of weird shit.
You fool.
Yeah, where's Rotten Tomatoes? Damn it! And normally it's the first thing to pop up, but nope. Book smart, one word.
Yeah. But, yeah, we just watched it just mere minutes ago. What, I mean, first off, overall thoughts, I guess. What would you give it?
Well, fresh take as a comedy. And I'm going to say this, taking away all of the hype that it's the new Superbad of this generation. Obviously, I think Superbad came out in 2007. Funny enough, we just watched it the other night, Superbad. And so that was kind of cool. Comparing the two, I feel like it's been 12 years since Superbad came out, but I feel like the jokes that they were trying to pull were a little dated. I feel like it, or not, maybe dated in the opposite term that people think. Like, it's dated for the 2019 crowd. Like, it's going to be dated. Like, it does not have the traditional jokes that, say, like Superbad had. It had very of your time or of the time jokes.
It's not going to be timeless.
Right,
one of those
exactly.
timeless comedies is gonna.
Yes. It went for like, I don't know, just for the weird millennial, like.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes, you can hear it in the music they play and the edit choices, and it, like, just the first time you meet the two main characters, where they, like, she's like, oh shit, let's get out of the car, let's do our little dance number. Like, it was well shot, well done. Like, I do think it was endearing. Like I do believe that the two characters were friends, but I do think that in timelessness, like, it won't hold up.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And like I enjoyed it. It was very funny, and the characters were endearing, but it felt oddly just sort of like a bunch of comedy cliches thrown together. Like it felt formulaic isn't quite. Maybe formulaic is the right word. It felt predictable a lot of times.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I've seen enough comedies, and maybe it's like from seeing Superbad just the other night, but then seeing many of those types of comedies, it just, all the beats were there. It didn't really feel, the only fresh thing that felt fresh was the fact that it was a product of its millennial 2019 age. Other than that, it was a very typical comedy of that nature, I'd say.
Yeah, but not to say that it was bad, though. I
enjoyed it. I mean, it's still a good
thumbs up.
Yeah, I like those
Not
comedies.
bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Oh, if I had to give a just thumbs up or thumbs down, I would definitely do thumbs up.
Yeah. Not 2 thumbs up, though. No, I wouldn't say it's super great.
No.
Okay, pull out your third.
If I was gonna give it a letter grade, it'd probably be a B minus.
Yeah.
Maybe a C plus if I'm
B plus
in a worse mood.
But we always, no matter what movie it is, there's always one that likes it a little bit better than the other. Again, for Olivia Wilde's directorial debut, not bad. She hit the mark. But again, it goes back to that argument that, did she hit the mark for the time that, obviously she was not a teenager in the time she set this story.
Yeah.
So that kind of, she's
probably
obviously
a
a fish
groups.
out of water. Well, yeah, right. Like, but it almost had that kind of weird
thing
like,
you could say.
I would assume she was probably a senior in the late 80s, early 90s, and it kind of had that feel of that. Like, it harkens, not necessarily like Dazed and Confused, but there's another movie, and I can't think of what it's called. It had like Jennifer Love Hewitt, Seth Green, Oscar showed it to me. It was a long time ago, but it deals. It's about a party, or like just these teens trying to go to a party, very much like Superbad, but Superbad was less gender neutral. This was made a point of being like, the main character is a gender fluid kind of like.
Well, which main character? The like main girl, not her friend.
Yeah.
I forget what is her name, Molly, and
I forget the main character's name, the one with the red hair.
Yeah.
The one that's not Jonah Hill's sister.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. But yeah.
Should I Anna or Emily? No, I don't know. But the one that likes
come to me.
Yeah, it'll happen. She definitely had an agenda as far as like the political climate.
Yeah, I felt like it was weirdly political, like a little too political for my.
And it fit with kind of her story arc,
which I kind of liked, because in the end she's like I felt like I knew, like I felt like I was above you all and I knew what everything was about, basically.
Right.
And then at the end, basically, she's like, I realize I don't know what the fuck like life's really about any more than anyone else. And, like I feel like that was kind of a basic theme of that, and the political part kind of
the valedictorian friends. Molly was definitely more that way.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. I was saying the one that was more advocate for, like, she was the one that was going to that foreign country to make the tampons. Like, she was definitely the more she had the bathroom, the weird bathroom that any gender could go use, and she's like, oh, until we have all genitalia, like, it doesn't matter. Like, she was definitely more an advocate for,
in some ways, for sure. I see what you're saying.
Statement, but again, it wasn't over the head. Like,
no, it wasn't.
Like, it
was subtle enough, but it did stand out enough to just notice and be like, wow, there's a lot of.
I liked it. I liked her character. I liked both of them. I mean, I thought they were great.
Honestly, my least favorite characters were more some of the side characters I didn't really care for. They just felt like caricatures, not very fleshed out. Both the main two girls were awesome. Like, anytime they were on the screen, it was a good scene. But sometimes when they were split up with other people, I didn't enjoy it as much.
Long-haired guy? The Indian American.
He was Mexican, because he was like, ever been with a Mexican at one point or something?
That's right. Yeah. And that's why she went up and was like, that's right. That was.
I didn't really care for his character. It was
he
just
went off.
And the guy that Molly ends up with too, I also didn't really care for his character that much. I don't know.
I like the two gay dudes, the Asian guy and the black guy. I'm not sure if I can really say that.
I feel like the theater guys that were doing the.
It's like no one's gonna win in this scenario wearing that dress, and he's like, like that shit was funny.
They were pretty entertaining.
And their whole murder mystery party, that was really cool. Actually, like that twist.
I would enjoy that party.
I know. I was thinking that at the same time. I was like, oh my god, dude! Like, I would.
And these guys are like into it.
Yeah, and he was like, you have to immerse yourself. Like, you absolutely have to. I love that. I thought that was really cool. Speaking of the guy that Molly ends up loving instead of Nick.
Yeah.
The curly head fuck that looks like he's
with
from
the blonde
Insane.
hair on top.
Yeah, he looks like he's straight from the 90s with that ramen noodles. Like, looks like you just soak some water on there, add some, like, savory seasonings, put it in the microwave for a minute and a half. Baby, you got a stew going.
Ends up with the skateboarder chick. Who'd have
thought?
Right.
Named Ryan, which that totally threw me off.
Yeah.
It's so weird, like, I'm sure you've seen movies where someone's named Sean. You know?
Yeah, it is always a little strange.
It's kind of rare to see someone named Ryan in a movie.
Well, definitely a girl named Ryan.
Well, yeah. Well, my parents, not to get too much into it, but they had known that it was unisex, like, name.
I feel like every name is unisex if you, like, really look into it.
Right.
But at the
same
time, it's not. Like, I don't know. There's definitely a majority one way. Yeah.
I'm Robert.
Well, I mean...
It was good though.
They're
Gigi though.
Yeah, I was about to say Gigi.
She kind of stole the show. Like,
she was.
Anytime I think of this movie, I'll think of Gigi.
I liked Gigi a lot. I will say though, at one point, she popped up. I think it was the point where she was at the party and she pops up from like under the bar. Yeah. Where I was just like, all right, I see what joke you're going for, and again, I've seen that joke in many comedies. That the one like weird character who's like, how do we keep? It's like Neil Patrick Harris basically, and don't they keep running into him? And Harold and Kumar. Yeah, it's basically one of those. But at a certain point, I was like, all right, this doesn't feel clever, and like me surprised. Like I wasn't feeling surprised and laughing. I was just like, all right, like sure, like, I understand you're on a set and you can have this actress pop up whenever you want. Like,
Right.
it just felt like a writing
Played by Billy
trope
Lord
at that point.
You know, Carrie
Which
Fisher's daughter.
And
which,
I enjoyed it.
knowing that,
but it felt
like,
overplayed at a certain point.
like,
But it was
Mamma
awesome.
Mia, holy crap. Like, that, I mean, she's, it's so weird when, I hate when they give such great character actors, like, you know, if she was any other character that wasn't such a minimalistic, like, one-dimensional, she doesn't change throughout the whole, Gigi does not change.
No.
Like, she's more of like a gag. Like, can you imagine if, like, she had been more prominent and actually had a more meatier role? Like, that would have been, to me, and that, I do enjoy her performance, but I kind of came out of it a little disappointed by Gigi. Like, I loved her
She was
during the moment, but at the end I was like, I thought she would do something very important.
She was mostly a comedic thing. She was there at the end to drive point, I think, when she's talking to the guy, and I can't remember any of the character names, but
yeah, well, that's how.
When Molly's talking to the guy she ends up with, who's like really rich and is friends with Gigi, or brother, sister, I don't know what they were, but Gigi was just there for him to give his, like, yeah, but she's more loyal than anyone I know, and she's always got my back, and it just reinforced all these people that I was judging aren't who I thought they were thing, which was already the point of the movie, so it didn't need to be there even, but I think that's why she, like, or that was the deepest her character got.
Yeah, I love it.
Just for that scene.
It shows that while she's, like, going into the pool and just
I am a, what does she say?
I'm a golden god. Which,
well, she says something else though. It's like golden.
I think she says I'm a golden god.
No, because it was similar to that.
It was
quote.
a variation of, like.
Yeah, it was a variation of it.
Almost famous.
But yeah,
I love that. That was a really cool scene. Goes straight into the pool head first, just like. There was again, like, we watched it on Netflix, and there were several times we had to rewind it, and we don't have, like, the best sound system, but there were a few, like, just delivered lines, in my opinion, that you can watch any movie you want and have it turned up and it sounds muffled, but you don't have to rewind it because you didn't understand what they were saying. This movie, I had many times where I was like, what did she say? What did he say? Because it was very quick delivered, very fast, like per second. Like, they were cramming as many words as they possibly could, and it made, to me, it became a little confusing.
I was gonna say,
when it comes to comedy, you can't go the super fast route. You have to let it linger, and it was very fast delivered.
I'm always hesitant to criticize a movie for me being confused as to what's happening, because I hate it when people criticize a movie for that and I can tell what's happening. I'm just like, oh, you just weren't paying attention enough.
Right.
So I'm always hesitant to criticize it, but there were many times where I was just like, wait, like what did the characters just decide they're about to go do? Or just, it was, and maybe it's because it was all just so fast that there were times where I was like, what?
Or even
I was confused.
The drink in the bathroom after the
yeah, what did she drink when that makes her throw up? We tried to pause it on it even. Cigarette butts, maybe.
That would be
like
the best. That would be best case scenarios. Yeah,
but
I can't imagine.
But that scene almost made me throw up.
Horrific. Well, and
as soon as she reached for the cup, I was just like, "Oh, Jesus!"
We rewound it like 2 or 3 times just to figure out.
Partially to figure out what was in the cup.
Right. Yeah. Sue us, but we wanted to get to the bottom of it for you guys, our loyal listeners. Definitely horrific. I mean, there were several scenes that I was just not wowed by, but just wow, shock value, you know. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't too much though. It wasn't. Besides using the F word, I don't think it didn't show any boobies. Didn't show.
It showed doll boobs. Like Barbie boobs.
But that's something you can show in a PG or. And
that was a weird scene.
PG, yeah.
During that scene, I think I looked at you. I was just like, "This is the weirdest movie I've seen in a while."
Yeah, and it's only like 30 or 40 minutes into like an hour and 50-minute movie. Like, it was a long movie.
And I gotta say, I enjoyed it, but even the drug scene was just another one of those things where it just felt like.
I think it was
like
rushed.
It felt like you've seen. Like, if I don't know, I felt like Olivia Wilde'd seen a bunch of comedies and she knew what she needed to have in there, but it just didn't transition well. It just felt like Like, you even called it when she stuffed the strawberries in their mouths. You're like, is that some kind of drugs? And then
she's like, how
and
does
then we
it
waited
taste?
for it, and it's like no other sign that it's drugs, so we kind of forgot.
And I forgot.
And then all of a sudden,
like,
Gigi's like,
"You're handling it well."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Dude, strawberries."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god."
But I didn't like it. Just felt weird how it's like they didn't hint at it before. They should have had signs that they were already tripping, because all of a sudden it was just like,
they kind of did though.
I drugged you. Oh shit, I'm tripping. And then
I thought about it though. There's the scene where after she jumps off the balcony, Gigi, they run to the post and they're like, ha ha ha, that's crazy. And she was like, all right, let's call it a night. Like there's a, like, they look at each other like they're tripping. Like,
oh, okay.
They're like, they
Maybe,
kind of,
yeah.
they're like heightened at that point. Like they're definitely, she's like, oh man, we got off like in this point. Like let's just call it quits. And I like that she did that. Like that's a really cool, because she did it several times. You know, she was like, okay, so we done this party. We did the murder mystery party that we mentioned earlier. And then finally,
Drug experience.
And then they go to the actual party, and she calls the what is it? Their little code name, little Great White Buffalo.
Malala.
Yeah, the Malala. Yeah,
that was another thing that got predictable. Like a good.
Yeah. I didn't
good
see that
30
coming.
seconds to a minute beforehand, I was like, oh, she's about to call
Yeah.
Malala to leave the party, and she's going to break it to stay at the party. I could just see where it was going already. Which, it was still done well, but it's just, I knew that.
It hit the same beats as Superbad, though. Because, I mean, as soon as they get to that final party, like, they'd have that big split. Which, and speaking of the split, like, as soon as they had that giant fight, there was a scene where they had all of the cameras, like, in the background, like, out of focus, like, lighting up, and you can see them recording. That never came up, like, nothing was really...
It was. It didn't
you
follow.
would have thought like blackmail, extortion,
or they didn't even try to play it off as like, oh, that's so embarrassing that everyone filmed this.
Right.
Like they didn't even go with that angle of like,
kind of weird,
just public shame. Like
or missed opportunity. Not weird, but it still worked.
But it felt odd because of that. It was just, and there were a few things I feel like throughout that just felt like they were going places, weird moments, and that didn't go anywhere necessarily. I can't think of a ton off my head, but I don't know. There were some strange moments in there that just made me question what they were trying to imply or say.
Another missed opportunity, and we might, there might be some flack for this, but we had, I mean, and it stemmed from I think you first had this idea about the teacher, and played by what, Jessica
Williams from The Daily Show. I knew I recognized her from something.
I'm not gonna lie, like it would have played out pretty weird, but once the seed grew, like for what you planted, I was like, wow, this is about to get dark. The theory
I didn't think it was gonna go dark. Like I didn't think it was gonna go dark, but I definitely thought the teacher was gonna make a move on the main character's name. Still
not Molly.
Yeah, not Molly, the lesbian main character, and. I don't know. She gave her phone number at the beginning, which is kind of odd.
She gave Molly the number, and the lesbian character was like, "Oh, well, give it to me after this," and she's like, "No, I'll forward it to you. Like, it was a really quick joke. Again, quick delivery. Like it's hard to.
And just the way, I don't know.
But she showed up. First of all, like she's at 2% on her phone after everything's said and done. The redhead lesbian,
which they said was because they streamed so much porn. And just as a quick side note, when did they stream all that porn? From what I saw, they watched like one video before the teacher like played it in the car, and then they probably turned it off.
She acted like quickly. She has never ever lost like any kind of power on her phone, and then just to stream 6 minutes of porn, you're talking someone who probably already had 90 plus % on her phone.
However,
streams like probably zooxhamster.com or whatever.
Makes me think like after they got out of the car, they just sat there and watched some more porn for a while or something. I don't know.
Jesus. Well, I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat. I just can imagine too, like girls who haven't even like graduated high school. One of them straight, one of them not. The other sitting on the road trying to teach the other. Well, without getting too graphic, it explains itself in the movie. But yeah, I thought that was kind of weird.
another, I guess, two things that I don't know. I thought were gonna come back in, and one of them is just more maybe I just thought more was gonna come of something that was explained. But Gigi's vitamins, like I did not think that was really.
I guess that was vitamins.
I guess. Like when that happened, I looked over at you. I was like, I don't think that's really vitamins. I think this guy's naive, and this girl told him it's vitamins.
As soon as you said
cocaine.
that, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm like,
and especially once we meet Gigi, I was like, "Oh, that was definitely cocaine."
Yeah.
But they never quite
Especially
addressed whether that. I guess it was just vitamins, or it just never came into.
I love that it's a very hint. Or a very subtle hint. She's like,
she licks the hair or whatever,
like,
or smells
like,
it. I guess.
You smell like my vitamins. I like that. That was really cool.
Which was like what I feel like vitamins nor Coke have either a smell or a good taste.
Whether I mean, I've never done cocaine on the record. I say vitamin C.
I've done vitamins though.
But yeah, I mean, good movie overall.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh, the other thing that I felt like could have been followed up with is the Strangler. They like are like, oh, we do have information on him. I wanted to see that dude get busted or something.
Was there any pre-mention of the Strangler before that happened?
Not that I can think of. If there was, maybe if some radio was going on during a scene, it was like one of those background dialogue things. But
I'd have to rewatch it. Yeah.
Nothing direct that I remember.
So to me, were they planting evidence? Or like did she create this? Like what?
I think she was saying just because it looks like this guy and he was giving us sketchy vibes because he was warning us to be safe.
to be a good,
like I don't know,
smart person.
Because honestly, like he was speaking,
trouble, like they would have gone in
that's
trouble.
Not like he was giving decent advice. He was a little weird about it.
Yeah.
Definitely weird about it, but like,
oh my god.
But he had a lot of good points. Like he had a gun, and he's just like, "Do you guys have?"
Like this.
Yeah. And he let them go. So.
Right. Yeah.
Was it fake information?
Since we're in the car, could you possibly give us a ride? Oh yeah, of course. Get out of my car.
And I feel like you don't just get let out of jail unless your tip follows through with something.
With some very convincing evidence that is a serious. I mean, I can only imagine.
So, like,
what kind of?
Because otherwise,
I would love to hear.
Otherwise, you could just grab some one thing off the wall and be like, "Yeah, I know this guy," and get out of there for free. Like they've got to try to confirm the info and then let you go.
Deleted scenes, my friend. I guarantee you.
I don't know. There's so much confusion. Like I'm hesitant to criticize it because I'm afraid somehow I just magically missed a bunch of stuff, and like I feel like people listen to this and be like, "Did you not pay attention?" Like this, and but I don't know.
Granted,
just because it feels like so many things were missing or weird for me.
I mean, you had woken up earlier.
Maybe I'm tired. Yeah, but I don't know.
Drive to the
I still enjoyed the hell out of it. It was still a good comedy. It just
not bad at all. Yeah,
it almost felt like it should have come out a couple years ago.
I definitely I'm not gonna lie. So before. I suggested we watch it today. I had watched the first 10-15 minutes, and I like the first 10 and 15 minutes a lot. To the point where I was like, oh shit, I'm going to stop this. Let's, watch it together. Mm-hmm. But then it just didn't, in my opinion, didn't follow through as a comedy. Like, I mean, there's comedies that always have, and I hate to drop names, but Talladega Nights, I think had a really good, strong first third. Anchorman even, they're not trying to call out Will Ferrell, which he did produce. Apparently, I saw his name in the credits.
He produced this.
Yeah, him and Adam McKay. It's wild. Even Dumb and Dumber, I don't think is as funny as it is in the beginning, where it's just that the intro to these characters is what most of the slapstick is, but it doesn't let up. It never slows down. I think
it was carried by the charm of
drama,
Molly especially, and also her friend. But Molly especially, it was her charm as a character and the actress that I think made me enjoy the movie. I think if you had a different actress who couldn't pull it off as well or something, I would have enjoyed it less. It would just felt like a like a standard comedy without anything special. But I think she like could have been a lot of the character writing, but also the actress pulled it off really well.
Ironically enough, I hated her character in the beginning. I hated the opening shot. Like I was like, like the whole like the self-help speech, and she's like meditating. Yeah, fuck them and their stupid faces or whatever.
Which was in the trailer.
Faces. I was like, really? You went there? Like, okay. And she just locks out her retainer. Like,
it could tie in though with
it got better.
Like she wouldn't be listening to a tape like that. Maybe at the end, maybe she's gone through enough where she's like she's learned to accept the people that she was judging. So it's like the idea of fuck them and their like maybe that's part of her character growth is having that at the beginning. And
overall, not bad at all.
Yeah, no, pretty.
I don't think I'd rewatch.
A few basically just enjoyable comedy. A few things just didn't feel like they were held up enough story-wise or dialogue-wise or didn't lead anywhere. But as long as you laugh in a comedy, some would argue that's all it needs. And
I'd hate to plug another comedy, but Blockers, in my opinion, is a far better comedy as far as like the gender-reversed lose your virginity type
Blockers
party
was good.
At the last like moment. But again, that was a dual story with like teenagers versus parents. But this was all about the teenagers, and I think when you do that, you can't just rely enough on the relationship of the two main characters. You have to have a more coherent story. Like Superbad, it made sense where they were like when they jogged to go check that one lady out. You know, they weren't there to see the cops. Mm-hmm. And then, like, the misunderstanding of how they had to be in different places at different times. This was like, oh, let's go to this boat. Gigi jumped off. We're tripping. Let's go run off to the next party. Mm-hmm. It was just party. It's
a small thing, too, but just moments that make you go, like, oh, yeah, that, like, feels like a realistic life moment. I feel like this was missing a lot of those. Like, just a small thing, but at the very end, when she fakes her out, she's like, all right, I'm getting on the plane. And then she's like, let's go get pancakes. I can be the last one on the plane. Like, in my head, I was just like, wait, what? Like,
bad ending.
Like, what? Was she not, like, she just dropping her off hours and hours early and it didn't matter? Like, why would they be there at that time if they knew they had time to get breakfast?
Sorry, lady. Do you know how long it takes to make pancakes?
So
even IHOP.
So instead of laughing, I was like
50 minutes.
I just cocked my head and was like, wait, what? She not. It was just a weird moment. It just wasn't. Didn't feel realistic. It just felt like a comedy moment.
Customs.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know how long that takes? Pretty face like hers. Still though.
But yeah, sweet. Exactly. It was an endearing little comedy that.
Yeah.
It was funny.
A little heavy-nosed on the feminist.
A little bit. That'll definitely turn some people off, I think. But it wasn't too overbearing, I don't think at all.
Nothing I wouldn't say don't go watch. I would fully recommend. Like,
yeah, I would recommend it.
If I had a B+, and I don't know, you said.
And I'd like to see, what's the main actress who played Molly?
Beanie Fieldstein.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill's sister.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd like to see her in a lot more. She's really good.
Yeah, she was really good. The other girl too.
Yeah. I enjoyed.
Not bad.
I enjoyed the Molly character the best, but the other girl was good too. Definitely, yeah. She was not bad in any way. But the standout for me was Fieldstein. But anyway.
Yeah.
Booksmart.
Our random Monday morning or Monday afternoon viewing of Booksmart led to this review, so hope you guys enjoyed. 1, 2, 3, go.